Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite Super Nintendo games. Now, I have about 35 games for the system, so I thought I'd break it down to like my top 10 favorites. So stay tuned, make sure you watch to the very end, because you'll never believe what made my number one SNES game. Let's get started. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So I'm gonna be doing my top 10 favorite Super Nintendo games. Now you're gonna see some games on this list and you'll be like, yeah, I saw that one coming. But wait till I get to number one and you could be like, what? Yeah. Anyways, let's get started. You all know that I love shmups. If you've seen this channel for a while, you know I like shmups, shoot 'em ups, side-scrolling shooters, top-down shooters. But with that being said, coming in at number 10, Super R-Type. Now, Super R-Type is a beautiful game. The graphics on this game are amazing. The music is great. The sound is great. But the reason it made number 10 is because it's so brutally hard. I'm telling you, you can get halfway through the stage, you'll get killed, they'll start you off at the very beginning with no power-ups. Oh yeah, that's another thing. As you're going through the stage, you'll be getting power-ups, and your ship will start getting more powerful, but if you get hit once, they send you back to the beginning, and you lose all your power-ups, and that sucks. I did finish this game, oh man, when was it? A year ago, I think. And as you go into the later stages, it becomes super brutally hard. Once I got done with this game, that was it. I put it up. I was like, I can't take it anymore. I can't take this game anymore. It gets tough. It gets really tough. That's why Super R-Type came in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is another side-scrolling shooter, one of my personal favorites, Darius Twin. Okay, so if it's one of my personal favorites, why is it coming in at number 9? I'll tell you that here in a second. Darius Twin is another side-scrolling shooter, like I said, and I mean the graphics are beautiful, the sound is great, the music is awesome, the soundtrack is awesome. You listen to the soundtrack and you're playing the game, and it kind of like takes you back to like the 90s, you know. But here's the thing, it's a lot easier than Super R-Type. You can actually like set your difficulty level. You can set how many lives you get. Really? I'm trying to shoot a video here. I almost lost my train of thought there. So, what makes this game a lot better than Super R-Type is the fact that when you get killed in the middle of a stage or whatever, you respawn right back to where you died. The only problem is that, yeah, it is a lot easier, and I've made it to the last stage, but here's the thing. There are no continues in this game. So, if you're like myself, and you make it to the last stage, and you lose all your lives, guess what? You're not going to continue back in the last stage. You're going to continue back to the first stage. And that sucks! So, as much as I love Darius Twin, that's the reason why it's coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is, no surprise, another side-scrolling shooter, UN Squadron. Now, here's the thing about UN Squadron that's different than Super R-Type and Darius Twin. UN Squadron, in that game, you can power up your ship, and you, even though you do get killed, if you do get killed in the middle of the stage, you do have to start from the beginning of the stage, but you keep your power-ups. That's the thing, you get to keep your power-ups. The soundtrack is amazing and the graphics are great, but what makes this better than the other two is you get continues. That's right. You get to continue. It is a limited number of continues, but at least you get to continue through the game. Yeah, you know what? I've had to continue a few times, but I have finished it. So that's why this game comes in at number 8. And guess what? There are no more side-scrolling shooters on this list. Coming in at number 7 is a game called ActRaiser. Now, I really didn't know too much about ActRaiser when I first got it, other than the fact that I seen advertisements in magazines, because back then there was no such thing as YouTube and stuff like that. There might have been no, you know what? I don't think there was the internet back then. But what I saw in magazines, it looked like an awesome side-scrolling platforming fantasy adventure. What? What? Anyways, so I get this game, and that's exactly how it starts off. It's this awesome platformer where you're killing these monsters, but then it takes a whole turn once you pass the first stage. It becomes like this god simulator where you're helping these villagers rebuild their towns and getting rid of these monsters. But what makes this game pretty awesome is the fact that once you get the town built, you get rid of all these monsters' lairs. It goes back into a side-scrolling platforming adventure. So it keeps the game fresh. I did finish it, and this is one of my favorite games. I love this game. It's fun to play. As a matter of fact, I might just go back and play this game when I get done with this video. Coming in at number 6 is F-Zero. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you should know what F-Zero is, but when I first got it, I was pretty amazed because F-Zero is a futuristic racing game that takes place in the future, and you're on this track that's like up in the sky, and like when you're playing the game, you can feel this like sense of speed. It like hauls ass. And what really sticks out in this game is like the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack to this game. It's so good. If you haven't played F-Zero, check it out. And I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think that F-Zero is pre-built into the SNES Mini. I think it is, or it should be. So if you don't have a Super Nintendo, and if you never played F-Zero, go get an SNES Mini and check it out. They're not that expensive. They're not rare like everybody thinks they are. So stop selling them on eBay, people, for like $200. I just went to Walmart the other day, and they had them there for like $70, and they're like 10 of them. So we'll pick up an SNES Mini and play F-Zero because it's freaking awesome. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's actually a really good game. You need to go check it out. So we're down to the last 5 games. With that being said, coming in at number 5, Super Mario Land. The reason why I didn't make it higher up on the list is because that's what everybody's expecting. Super Mario Land is Super Mario Land. What can I say about it? You should know about it already. If you don't know, of course, well, you know, Super Mario Land was a game that was packed in with the Super Nintendo when I first got the system back in the day. Hell, if you don't know what Super Mario Land is, and how many times am I going to say Super Mario Land? You need to get out from under that rock that you're living in and start playing some video games, people. Coming in at number 4 is another, well, I don't want to say brutally hard game, but it's Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I love the Super Ghouls and Ghosts series. Well, I don't know if you want to call it Super Ghouls and Ghosts series, because on NES it's called Ghosts and Goblins. I think it was called Ghosts and Goblins back in the days when it was back out in the arcades. But yeah, this game is beautiful, man. The parallax scrolling, the graphics are amazing, the sound is awesome, The game is challenging, and here's the thing with any like ghosts and goblins, super ghouls and ghosts, or what, I have it right here. What's it called? What? Ghouls and ghosts for the Genesis. Spoiler. It shouldn't be a spoiler. This game's been out for so long. You play through this game, and it's really hard. And once you get to the game, you thought, and you well, not you thought, you thunk, whatever. You think you beat the game. Guess what? You didn't beat the game, because you have to start all the way back to the beginning again and play through it all over again. And that's the way it is with all these Ghost and Goblin games. They're so hard, and that sucks. But the game is fun. The game is so much fun, and that's why it made my number 4. Coming in at number 3 is a game that I cannot talk about enough. I love this series. This is an awesome platformer, side-scrolling adventure, and that's Super Castlevania 4. I've played a lot of Castlevania games before, but this one is probably one of the best Castlevania games I've ever played, besides Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood. But, I mean, it's Castlevania, guys. What else can I say about it? I mean, the soundtrack to this game is amazing. The gameplay, oh my god, the gameplay on this game is so good. I got to a point to where I got so good at this game that I was playing it every day. I try to get from the beginning to the end without dying, and if I was like 2 stages or whatever before I got to the end and I died once, I'd stop and start it all over again, because I tried my best to like perfect this game. Either way, the game is so much fun to play. If you haven't played it, and I know this game is out on the SNES Mini, play it. Do yourself a favor. I was about to say a flavor. Do yourself a favor and play this game. I promise you will not be disappointed. We are down to the last 2 games, and I know what you're thinking is going to be number 1, but it's not. And number 1 is going to freak you out, but I'm just going to say it. Coming in at number 2 is A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. What? Why is it not number 1? Well, I'll tell you why. But first of all, let me just say this. I love the Legend of Zelda series. As a matter of fact, A Link to the Past is one of my favorite Zelda games. To me, A Link to the Past beats A Breath of the Wild. Well, sort of. But this is a game that I grew up playing, and I have so many nostalgic memories with, and I've played it for hours and hours and hours and hours. I even played it recently, maybe like 2 months ago or whatever, and I got through like the first half until I got to the Dark World, and then I stopped playing it for whatever reason. I started playing other games. But you cannot say that A Link to the Past deserves to be number 1, because it does deserve to be number 1. It's that good. But I'm going to tell you why it didn't make number 1. And I'm going to show you the game that did make number 1 right now. So, coming in at number 1. And if you haven't already, before I tell you what number 1 is, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because this is the shit I'm telling you about. This is the kind of crazy ass shit that you're gonna see on this channel. You're like, well, yeah, this is gonna be this and that. No, it's not. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because these videos just gonna keep getting crazier and crazier. So coming in at number 1, my favorite Super NES game is Super Tennis. I'm not lying. Super Tennis. And let me tell you why. Super Tennis beat The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So, I got my Super Nintendo way back in the day, and I was playing Super Mario Land like forever. And that's the only game that I ever had. The second game that was given to me by my dad was Super Tennis. And I remember that summer, me and my cousin played the living shit out of this game. At first we were like, why would he give you Super Tennis and not something else? I'm like, dude, I don't know, but I guess we could try it. We ended up playing it, and then before you knew it, we got completely addicted to this game. We got so hooked, and we played the hell out of this game. We became super competitive, and we played this game every single day for like hours and hours and hours that summer. And this is like, what summer was it? God damn, I can't even remember. But look into my eyes, you will see. This is the summer that this game first came out, and we played the living shit out of this game. And I'm sure if my cousin was here right now, I mean, he's not dead, he just doesn't live here, but whenever he comes down again, I think I'm gonna pop this game in, and we'll probably play it again and relive nostalgic memories. So yeah, that's my number one game, Super Tennis for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, that's my top 10. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.